It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Wakanda forever! What's happening, everybody? It is showtime, Geno Jones Showtime. And somewhere in America, somewhere on the planet, a lot of places actually, Wakanda Forever is playing. I haven't seen it yet. Don't worry. There's one person that's going to be on my panel that has seen it, but I promise that person will not spoil it for you if you have not seen the movie Wakanda Forever. Monday through Friday. I come to you live, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Chicago, maybe up in Milwaukee or down in St. Louis or Memphis or Houston or maybe New Orleans. 3:30 p.m. out on the West Coast. Please subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel, you and everybody that you know, everybody that you like, that you love. Folks you ain't too crazy about, even folks you can't stand, that you hate. Strangers, aliens, tell them all. It's simply must-see TV, the Geno Jones Show. So coming up, I've got my panel. As a matter of fact, I think all my panels' mics are muted but one. So I think that the last person to join me didn't mute their mic on their end, but we're all good. I'm looking forward to it. We have Keela Carson. We have Walt Love up in Milwaukee, who's running to be an alderman in Milwaukee in 2023. And a regular to the show, my political contributor, number one on your playbook and number one in our heart, my man A.J. Davis. So, good news. Now, if you watched the show yesterday, you were a Anita Baker fan. I know you're really excited. She's going out on her first full tour since 1995. So that's going to be like next year. It'll be, wow, 28 years. So Anita's tour is going to celebrate her legendary 40-year music career and the debut of her the celebration of her debut album. The Songstress came out in 1983. Woohoo, boy. Oh, my God. I'm just going to stop because my mother's watching. But that Songstress albums, yeah. Will You Be Mine? Angel. You're the Best Thing Yet. Feel the Need. One of the great Chicago stepping cuts of all time. No More Tears. So she's going to kick the tour off the Saturday before Valentine's Day. In the Miami area, actually Hollywood, Florida, which is just north of like downtown Miami and South Beach. As a matter of fact, it's going to be at the Hard Rock Live. There's a huge hotel, a giant hotel, Hard Rock Hotel in Hollywood, Florida. So, and the same area is where the Miami Dolphins Stadium is, where they play, where the Dolphins are balling this year. So there's some other dates. I know she's going to be in Chicago at the United Center. This is going to be June 30th. That date means a lot to me personally because my oldest daughter, Boogie, that is going to be her 5th wedding anniversary. She's going to be at this legendary outdoor venue in Detroit City. Pine Knob is the name of the venue. It's just north, like a lot north. It's way outside of downtown, beyond the outskirts of Detroit, Michigan. So Keela Carson, she can explain to you exactly where that's at. And it's going to be sometime this summer. She's also going to be doing Atlanta. She's going to be doing, I mentioned Chicago, Detroit, I just mentioned, Houston, Dallas, Los Angeles, Memphis, Oakland, New Orleans, Newark, New Jersey. She's going to be in the New York City metro area too. So I believe you can go to her website or just if you do a search, Anita Baker 2023 tour, Ticketmaster, you can buy your tickets now. They already got them on sale, actually. So, and shout out to Morris Day. Yes, Morris Day's new and his last album. Morris said, look, I'm done with y'all. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell, or I got to get the hell up out of here, because he said he's going to retire. No, Morris, say it isn't so. So his brand new album is called Last Call. And he said, this is the last call to get my album, and it's going to be my last call on tour. As a matter of fact, he's already doing dates. So this last call, last call tour is going to go into 2024. And then shout out to Morris. So the album, Last Call, he streamed it. They dropped it. They started streaming it last night. It entered the charts. It entered the R&B charts. Number one, the number one selling streaming R&B album on the planet is Morris Day's Last Call. And congratulations, Morris Day is going to receive the Legend Award at the Soul Train Music Awards later this month, I believe November 27th. So happy birthday today, November 11th. Shout out to my Scorpio stand-up comedian Lavelle Crawford, who, if you see him now, like if you were a fan of Lavelle Crawford, because you know Lavelle was like probably like one buttermilk biscuit short of probably like 400. So Lavelle is like not, he is half of a man. As a matter of fact, he's probably a third of the man that he was. So shout out to Lavelle Crawford, funny brother. Lavelle Crawford is 54. Tomorrow, happy birthday, Saturday, November 12th, Tamala Jones. So who's Tamala Jones? So remember Booty Call. No, she would not Jamie Foxx's girlfriend, Tommy Davidson's. It's just because when I think of that movie, I think they were wrapped up. They couldn't find any condoms, so they had to use. It was like Scotch tape. It's just, hey, it's a funny movie. Tamala Jones, she was also in the movie The Wood, which is short for Inglewood, California. She was in The Brothers. She was in Kingdom Come. Tamala Jones is going to be 48 tomorrow. Former lead singer of B2K, Omarion, is going to be 38 tomorrow. Speaking of singers, a singer, my man Tevin Campbell. Can we talk for a minute? Girl, I want to know your name. So Tevin Campbell is going to be he's going to be 46. Tevin Campbell is going to be 46. So, you know, he started off as a teenager singing. He was singing with Prince. Quincy Jones discovered him. Just a good dude. I saw an interview recently. He just talked about how he kind of come out openly as gay, and you know why they like the record company was like, no man, back in the day, don't do that. They thought it was going to hurt his fan base. But Tevin is a good dude. I met him before. Really a cool dude. Really got a sense of humor. Tevin Campbell's going to be 46 tomorrow, and Russell Westbrook. My Los Angeles Lakers, I'm not even going to talk about the Lakers. I'm just going to say Russell Westbrook is going to be 34 tomorrow. And that's it. Because if I start talking about the Lakers, I'm going to bum myself out, and I can't do that because we got to have a recap. So we're still looking for this red wave. I've been looking, you know, I'm close to the ocean, and I keep going to the beach looking for this red wave. So I don't know, maybe my panel can help me out because this red wave that everybody was predicting, oh, it's going to be a red wave. Yeah, it's going to be like Moses parted the Red Sea, and it's going to just soak up and drown all of you Negroes and Hispanics and gays and lesbians and women single women. Well, psych, wrong answer. That didn't happen. So let me bring on my panel, ladies and gentlemen. Bam, here we are. We got the all-star superstar Hall of Fame panel from Tuesday night. So, the upper left-hand corner, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, the legendary Miss Keela Carson.
Hey, Geno.
And below Keela Carson, you see Brother Graybeard there. Get him back in the shot. He is running. He's running to be a councilman.
What's the
he'll tell you what board. He's going to be running to be an alderman, new alderman in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Near and dear to my heart. Also competing in the Senior Olympics. He'll tell you about that. Brother got some medals, so he's still got some athletic skills going on. Walt Love right there doing his thing. And of course, lower right-hand corner, ladies and gentlemen, this man needs no introduction. He is the major political contributor. He is my go-to. Like when I need a bucket, I would give it to Kobe or Jordan. Well, this is my go-to brother right here. A political, social justice warrior, political activist, entrepreneur. Really, I wish he ran for governor. A.J. Davis. I want to welcome everybody back to the show. Hello.
Hello, Geno.
Wakanda forever. So there's one person that's on this panel that has already seen Wakanda Forever, but that person is not gonna spoil it.
Yeah, I can't do
That
that.
person is not gonna
You
spoil
gotta
it
go to
for the
the
rest
dealer.
of the world
Get
is
the
watching.
dealer said they didn't have any that was
So,
Okay,
that
I
long.
don't know if you can
The dealer
hear me,
ones were
Gino, but
I can hear you.
about
okay,
that long. And I'll tell you what.
because Walt is
Hey,
talking in the
Walt, man, we
background.
can hear you. Mute
Let
your
me
mic
order
for us. We're
you
gonna
the
bring you on
right
camera in
stuff.
a minute there. I know he's got a lot going on. So
They might run you
let's.
around $100 for the lug. I paid $100 for those.
Yeah, I don't
You
think
don't even
Walt.
know his
I don't think Walt
I'll
can
tell you
I
hear
don't
what,
us.
think Walt knows either. So well, I tell you what. So
So right on
Keith, why
Amazon,
don't you go ahead
probably
and
pay $30,
Okay.
$40
reach out.
for
Let's
for
kind
a
Okay,
of
set.
so let me go ahead and talk
You
about
can
pick it
go
up from
on Amazon,
yeah.
get
So
$30,
Wakanda
$40
Forever.
and guys
give
will
us
Just
your
to
be
say,
close. The rest will
midterm
be close.
recap. How would you explain
So
what
right
happened
now
to
on
you? And it's
Amazon,
still happening.
bidding
We
for
still got some races that are undecided.
Or eBay.
okay,
All right, I'll have
so
to take those back.
for the record, I think that Ryan Coogler, the director, writer of Wakanda Forever and Black Panther, I think he will be back. I think right now he is writing the next script and getting the cast ready. I loved it. It was excellent. It is I think that this movie is going to do for young Black girls and STEM what Bill Cosby did for HBCUs and Black kids going to college.
Really?
I really do believe, yes, because it is about science, it's about love, it's about family, but that little girl science component is definitely in the movie.
Okay.
So Wakanda Forever.
I see.
I got my Wakanda clothes on.
You mean well? You know, you could argue. I always got my Wakanda clothes on. So, Key, I want you to recap what happened Tuesday with the midterm elections, and we still have some elections to be decided yet.
Right.
In Arizona, Nevada, we got a runoff. Yep. Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock. We got the runoff against that jackass on December 6th. Let me point this out. All right, everybody in Georgia that's watching the show, you can start early voting November 28th. So you don't wait till December 6th. Get y'all ass in. Show up like y'all going to see, Anita Baker at the State Farm Arena, or like y'all going to see the Falcons in the Super Bowl. I'm gonna need y'all to show up in mass early and get your votes in. Go ahead, Key.
So millennials and Gen Z, they did show up. Now it's proportionate, right? So all the Gen Z in the country did not show up, but enough showed up that it could balance out and at least keep the Democrats safe, right? We're still looking at women. Women showed up and showed out.
Yeah.
Women of all demographics, women from the suburbs, Black women, young women. I mean, women just showed up. Okay. And we still had overall low turnout, but we had more than the average midterm election.
Yeah, we did.
If that makes any sense.
It does. Let me just jump in. We'll finish your thought because I want to talk about the turnout. Those turnout numbers, that's important. And I know AJ is going to help me out with that too.
Okay.
Go ahead, finish your thought.
And finally, and just one additional thing for the election. Democrats did what has not been done since John F. Kennedy, which is not have the midterms be a referendum on, or maybe it was, maybe it said, we think you're okay. But typically, if things are not going right, there's a shift in the House and the Senate, right?
Absolutely.
That did not necessarily happen that way. It was kind of like a even draw. And so people are like, hey, let's just stay put and deal with what we have.
Absolutely. Now, so let me just jump on. And Walt, if you can hear me, hopefully you've got some numbers in Wisconsin. So I saw some interesting numbers, Key, in terms of the turnout rate for white voters versus Black voters in Georgia.
Oh yeah.
White voters turnout was at like 55, 56%. The turnout of black voters was actually
20.
just under
It was in the
30%. It was like
20s.
at last count, it was like 29, 30%, which I was
Right.
really surprised.
Right. And so
However,
it said that people from the other side voted for Warnock.
yeah.
And because they just couldn't go with those election deniers.
Even though 53% of white women voted for Herschel Walker, so that needs to be pointed out.
Well, that shouldn't surprise you because the same women voted for Donald Trump.
Right. But what's ironic, so those same 53% at least voted for Brian Kemp, the governor, who wants to like have a total ban of abortions. So I would think these 53% of white women, either they are of childbearing age, or they may have a daughter or granddaughter or niece that could maybe they can't afford any more kids. God forbid if they're a victim of rape or incest. But that vote, it's like you're voting against your own best interest. But let me dispel one quick myth about what black men weren't doing for Stacey Abrams, even though she didn't win. But Stacey's so overly qualified. 84% of black men voted for Stacey Abrams in Georgia. 85% of black women voted for Stacey Abrams.
Yep.
So
can I jump in for a second, Geno?
Huh?
Can I jump in a second?
Yeah. Well, do me a favor. Hold on. I'm gonna come to Milwaukee. I'm gonna come to Wisconsin, because I know AJ has got some. He and I talked about it off camera. AJ, you want to kind of pick up on this turnout thing, because you and I have been having this conversation for a while. Give us your take on the turnout, because we had a situation here where I heard, AJ, the turnout numbers in South Carolina for all demographics was like just under 20%, 19, 20%. Is that correct? That what you heard?
Yeah. So technically, I think when all returns got brought in, we were a little under 50. So I want to say maybe right at 49 point something percent total. I think we had 3.4 registered voters, 4 million registered voters. We had 1,700,000 show up.
Okay.
And so South Carolina had what Republicans were predicting for the rest of the nation. They had a complete red tsunami. So after all totals have been brought in, they pretty much have a Republican trifecta, which they had it before.
Yeah.
But it's going to be pretty difficult unless there is a tremendous turnout in the next 2 years with 2024 to change that. So they actually picked up 4 seats in the House that were held by African Americans. Yeah. Crystal Matthews lost not only her Senate bid, but she lost her House seat. And 3 other black folks lost their House seats as well.
Did Shardell Murray? Did she lose?
Yeah, she lost too. Yeah, she was one of the 4. Yeah, and that's the thing. So I want to give Walt an opportunity, but yeah, South Carolina was what Republicans were hoping for the rest of the country. So go ahead, Walt.
All right, thank you. I know it's kind of iffy over here in my car and whatever. It's a lot going on. But here's what happened in Milwaukee and the surrounding area with Mandela Barnes, who of course fell 27,000 votes short. And there were a lot of split votes that happened here. There was some of the white people who voted for Evers and also voted for Ron Johnson.
Right, and for those who don't know, Tony Evers was the incumbent governor of Wisconsin.
Correct. Tony Evers was the incumbent governor. Ron Johnson was the incumbent senator. Mm-hmm. And so, and then Michaels was running against Evers as a Republican. So we held on to the governorship and Democrat here in Wisconsin. However, as the state representative, U.S. Senate, Mandela Barnes lost that by 27,000 votes because of independents, as well as the voter turnout was at least $40,000 to $50,000, about 40 to 50,000 people less than what it was in the last general election. Oh, wow. So you put that together, it was about 30,000 independent votes And the 47,000 or 50,000 voters that didn't come out would have actually put Mandela Barnes way over the top. And he would have won by not a landslide, but he would have won. One of the things he didn't do is he didn't spend enough. They said he did a Hillary. He did not spend time here in the city where he should have been. Well, I guess he took that for granted. However, it didn't fare well for him. So unfortunately, that's what happened. However, we still got the governor, the attorney general, and so the attorney general, Josh Call, is a Democrat. So we still have that.
So, Walt, let me ask you real quick.
Yes.
So every state has 2 senators. Who's the other senator? Is it Tammy Baldwin? Who's the other senator?
Yes, it is.
She's a Democrat, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, Tammy Baldwin.
Yeah, Tammy Baldwin, which is a openly gay woman.
Mm-hmm.
So she's openly gay here in this. She came out a few years back or whatever.
Right. And won in spite of that. Won in spite of the public knowing, because you still got that kind of conservative MAGA right wing, anti-Semitic, anti-black, anti-homophobic, the whole deal.
Yeah,
she won in spite of that.
So it was interesting. It was great. We will have to, fight another fight to try to win the next time. But we learned from some of the mistakes that we made on this trip.
So let me ask you something. Since you are running to be an alderman in Milwaukee,
yes.
Even though it's a local office, but
right.
AJ will tell you, I mean, these local races are probably more important in a lot of ways than national elections, because the local, your mayors and council people and aldermen and alder people really have a direct impact on your life, school board, you and your family's life every day. So what lessons did you learn from Mandela Barnes's campaign that you will make sure that you don't do he came pretty close, so apparently he did some things well, but what mistakes did you see his campaign make that you learned from that you won't make in your run for the alderman position?
I'm not afraid to tell the truth. I'm not afraid to be accountable. I have integrity. Some of these people who are in there do not, and I'm going to tell it like it is. Now, if you can't handle that, I'm sorry, I'm not your candidate, because I'm not going to be bought to be in there. I'm going in there to try to work. Now, there's 5 new aldermen, once it's said and done, that's going to be on the county board, county common council here in Milwaukee. So there's a lot of different, it won't be the old same attitude, because you're bringing 5 new different people there who can probably get together and make some things happen, because we have the attitude that we're not going to be the status quo. So, and then with some of the things that calling people out, I don't have a problem with calling the mayor out, calling the sheriff out, which I've done already. I don't have a problem with calling the governor out if he's not doing what he should be doing. And I think that it's imperative that I let the constituents know that I'm fighting for what's happening here in not only in my jurisdiction, but what's happening in this city. So that's where I'm going to be fighting for, because we got so much going on. Pretty much is going on all across the country. Crime, we got reckless driving. They're putting all these speed bumps everywhere. They're putting stops in the middle of the street, or making curves, making roundabouts. They're doing all kind of stuff to try to combat that. But what are you doing to the people who do the thing right? So you're really, and they want to change the speed limit to 20 miles an hour. Really? I'm like, really? So that's the kind of demagoguery that we're dealing with here. So I'm going to try to combat some of that.
So Geno, so I know we're getting close on.
No, we're good.
So
you're
one
good.
of the things,
we're good on time. You're good.
Okay.
Because I want to ask Key. I want to ask Keela something. But go ahead. You wanted to ask something, because I do want to talk to you about turnout. So why don't we do that first, and then Key, I'm gonna come to Keela, because Michigan did it right. So I want to find out, what the hell did y'all do up there in Michigan? Whatever you all did, we need that recipe. But I know, AJ, you got some recipes about voter turnout and engagement.
Well, yeah,
we've been talking about that forever.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say along those lines. Yes, Michigan definitely showed the country what can happen when you have an organized strategy that took a while to get off the ground. But what I want people to also understand when we look at 2024, that there's going to be a renewed effort, because now we're seeing the Republican Party starting to shift from Donald Trump to Ron DeSantis and Glenn Youngkin being named as two of the front runners for 2024. But also, they still want to accomplish their mission. They want complete control of all state legislatures. They want complete control of the judiciary. They want complete control of Congress, because for them, this is not just, oh, we want to get elected. This is them wanting to have total power. So I'm trying to get folks, especially here in the South, when you look at the Southern races, it's a shame that the South has over 51% of the Black population in the United States, yet political representation does not mirror that at all. South Carolina has 7 congressional districts. 1 is held by a Black person. Louisiana, which there was a truly crushing blow to Gary Chambers. I mean, we could have a whole show about what happened over there. Arkansas, same thing. Mississippi, like when you go through and you look at all of these southern states and you look at how gerrymandered their maps are, and especially those without a major metropolitan city, which can hold more progressive votes that can help to balance out the Black vote. I think what's surprising to people about what's happening in Georgia is because we assume that Atlanta is all Black and Atlanta's all Black Democrat. And that's not the case, I can tell you. And because the Democratic Party and by and large, I think Black people have not been paying attention to the ground game of the Republican Party, who've been going in. They've been getting Black voices by proxy to come in. I mean, we had most of the representatives out of South Carolina, Lindsey Graham, Tim Scott, Nikki Haley, all campaigning for Herschel Walker. So that should tell you something. So I think that moving forward, starting now, folks are going to have to start organizing better and really getting into those communities that, you know, you used to be able to assume would be, you know, solidly blue. That's not the case.
So, AJ, so what Key, tell us what worked in Michigan.
Yeah.
And then, AJ, I want to get your blueprint, because you see in terms of strategizing, I want you to tell us, what does that actually look like? Give us some action steps. But Key, you probably got some action steps. What did you all do? What did the candidates? What did the public? Just everybody. What happened in Michigan that worked so well, and how can we scale that up? And what's the blueprint?
Well, the blueprint is to keep the relationship going. Don't love me today and then leave me until next week or next year when you need me again. The governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, has continued her relationship with not only the citizens of the city of Detroit and the metropolitan Detroit area, which is a very large area and encompasses 3 huge counties, amongst her other relationships outside of the metro Detroit area. She keeps those relationships going all year round, consistently, whether it's a meeting, the Divine Nine. She's always doing, yes, my
chapter. She got a relationship with the Divine Nine. Wow.
My chapter soror, it's our charterversary today, by the way, my chapter. But my sorority sister just interviewed I'm trying to think all of the members, but we had a meeting with the governor. We did our Secretary of State. We and several others who were running for office. We do town halls. This is constantly.
Wow.
So what I'm saying is that the relationship is consistent. It's not just when it's time to run. It's always running. So a lot of the people here have been running for 2 years.
Okay, good. So go ahead, AJ. I know you wanted to kind of answer that last question. We got about 3 minutes. What outside of what? Because I think Keela gave us some brilliant action steps. You can't show up in 2 weeks and like, hey, help us save democracy. No, your ass got to be on them streets 24/7. And I know you want to talk about that detail, AJ. Go ahead, man.
Walt, I saw you look like you wanted to say something. I want to give you an opportunity if you did.
Thanks. Yeah, because I got a board meeting I got to be at right now. But anyway, I concur with what she said. Being in the community, always having town halls, and those things are very, very important. Not just like you said, jump in today and try to be out there. I've been posting stuff for the last year about the demagoguery that's been happening here and on my Facebook. So, and saying, hey, look, this is what's happening, et cetera, et cetera. And our boy Mandela didn't do that. And he was afraid to get into the mud, if you call it a mud, but it's not mud if you're telling the truth about Ron Johnson. You've been in there 14 years, what have you done? And then they were saying, oh, it's Mandela's fault that, this is this and that. Really? Tell the truth, So it's things like that. But I really appreciate the fact that Geno, you and everybody else here we're staying woke. We're staying steadfast. And let's continue to do that. And I'm just going to get off, but you guys got my number.
Right. Well, before you get off, people that want to support your campaign, volunteer, donate money, let them know where they can go right now and contact your campaign.
Right now, we got my email. It's walterlove@yahoo.com. Just go there, leave us some information, and we will get back to you. Harrison Kern is my campaign manager.
Can they cash out your Zelle, use the money for your campaign?
Oh yeah, I got a cash app too. I think it's Mr. Love.
Well, email him, and then he will email you his cash app and you got Zelle or Venmo? Which one you got?
I got cash app. I don't have Zelle.
Well, you need to get Zelle, buddy. You got a bank account. I know you got several, so you need to have Zelle and Venmo. I appreciate you, Walt. Number love and respect, my brother. I know you got to run. You got your meeting. I appreciate you taking some time out. We got about 2 minutes. AJ, you want to go ahead and kind of wrap your point? Thanks, Walt. And the key, you're going to close it out for us. Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, so I think in addition to what Ms. Key said, I think for 2024, 2023, 2024, because we got municipal elections coming up, and I keep telling folks there's really the next passive year for elections is probably going to be 2025, where you don't have anything major coming up. But for Black communities in particular, campaigns will be descending on your neighborhoods. If they're not talking about education in the positive and affirmative, they're not talking about housing, because this midterm, it was amazing to me to see how little the actual human issues were not discussed. And the Democrats, in my opinion, played from behind and were constantly on their heels instead of driving the conversations to what people are really needing, especially in Black areas. You have a whole water crisis still in Flint and now in Jackson. So nobody said nothing about that. There were so many opportunities for truly generating a buzz and getting people around. And so my suggestion strategically, and that's what I'm working on, is there's got to be organizing around the real human and social issues that impact everyone, but especially Black communities, and finding common ground with that and making sure that people understand that those are the things that are on the ballot, not the boutique single, item issues of abortion and whatnot. That's where we failed. We failed because there were some people who were like, that's not keeping my lights on. So I'll stop there.
And two things can be true, multiple things. Yes, women's reproductive rights is important, and clean water, and making sure that your kids can learn their own history in their school books and textbooks and everybody else. So you're right. All these things can be true. And then AJ, I want you to come back pretty soon, and I'm gonna let you come with your blueprint, specific blueprint in terms of what you talked about in terms of like issues, Like we need to have a checklist of 10 things protecting democracy and voting rights and civil rights and women's reproductive rights, but making sure we got clean water, living wage, and all that. And I know you got it, so we're going to talk about it. Key, we got about a minute and a half. I'm going to let you wrap it up for us. Oh, we didn't have a minute and a half. I thought we had more time than that. I guess we didn't. I'm going to thank everybody for coming on. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, and especially you. God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show. I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Please subscribe, share, like, and binge watch all my back episodes. Shout out to Mr. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. Check him out on Instagram, KelB Cutting Up, KelBe. Cuttinup. Allie Jones, she is the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. You can check her out on Instagram. It's LX, like L like Lexi, X like X-Men, dot, N like Nanette, C like Charlie, L like Lexi. LX.NCL _ that dash below. Have a great weekend, everybody. Go back and binge watch all my back episodes. It's been must-see TV every night, must-see TV. And you must see the conversation I had with the Isley brothers about 2 weeks ago. They were guests on my show. We had a great conversation, a lot of fun, talking about some stuff they got in the works with Beyonce. And Ronald Isley, a.k.a. Mr. Big, got some stuff in the works with Snoop D-O-double-G, Snoop Dogg. They talk about all that. Hopefully you get a chance to go see Wakanda Forever this weekend. I know I will. Let's make that movie #1 on the planet. And the next live edition, we're going to talk about Wakanda Forever. Monday, next live edition, Monday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Until then, once again, everybody, thank you for watching. And as always, pray for peace. Be blessed.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.